Hey, welcome to Comics Covered, where we use the coverprice.com website to talk about interesting sales and fun things in the comic world. I'm John, one of the co-founders of Cover Price, and we're joined today by Aaron. What's up?
Hey, not much. I'm excited to be here. So this is like 2 weeks in a row. I guess I'm like a recurring guest at this point. Huh?
We need to start taking like tabs and giving everybody points or something.
Yeah,
But
but I'm happy to be here. So
no, we're happy to have you. So thank you for jumping in on the pinch. Matt, who's usually obviously on here, had a slight emergency. He was walking his dog, and his dog got attacked by another dog. So he's now at the vet, paying probably astronomical vet bills to see what's going on. But so far, I hear everything's okay. But yeah, his little dog was attacked by I think a husky. So
so as everyone knows, I have a dog, but it wasn't my dog, and I don't have a husky. So
seems suspicious. You seem guilty. Sounds like you're trying to cover something up here.
I mean, Texas, California, that's quite the distance for walking your dog, right?
Labradors have a lot of energy. I bet that he can make the run.
That is true.
But thank you so much. Today we have a fun show. We're going to talk about everything that's going on over at Boom Studios. We're going to talk about some San Diego Comic-Con stuff. We'll jump into the website, and we also have a fun giveaway today. Let me share the screen and show everybody what we're doing. So the giveaway is, let me share this real quick, is going to be Grommets number 2. So this is the I'm sorry, it's the I believe it's the variant. I have to double check. Matt will jump on and then confirm, but it's either the variant or the standard cover. But if you guys haven't heard, Grommets is a pretty fun series. It's about 80s skater culture. A lot of fun stuff going on. It's about 2 boys who are kind of growing up in the culture, have rough childhoods, and just all that fun stuff. I don't know. Have you checked this one out at all, Aaron?
I haven't had a chance to read it. I've been hearing a lot of good things about it, and this is the 1 in 10 incentive cover.
Right. Let me double check before I make any promises about what is. Yeah, it's the 1 in 10. So we are going to give this one away.
Okay. And then I just learned yesterday from Big Leg that grommets is a term in SoCal for skaters, that was popular in late 80s.
I think I wasn't cool enough to know the the term. I grew up in LA and in the 80s and 90s, so more 90s than 80s. So maybe that's why.
Yeah, I think it was a SoCal thing.
Okay.
So I found that out the other day. So I didn't know that.
What does it mean? Do you know?
I don't know. To be completely honest, yeah. I just learned that it was to refer to skater kids and stuff like that back then. So.
Well, it looks like Karen's enjoying the story. Karen, do you know what grommet means, or anybody else listening? Because we're going to use it incorrectly, and yeah, that was so grommet, man, so grommet.
It looks like trudgery. Knows what? Oh, okay. All young skaters still today. Okay.
Fair enough. But cool. Did you ever skateboard? Were you ever into it?
I did skateboard when I was in middle school. So when I was in middle school, that was about the time when Tony Hawk had landed the 900.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So that and especially being young, that's the time to get all messed up from skateboarding. So I think I actually sold a bicycle and bought a skateboard.
You gotta have those priorities. I like it.
Right. I mean, it was kind of it's kind of someone really wanted the bike, and I was oh, I'll sell it to you for this much so I could buy a skateboard. And then so throughout high school I skated as well. And I stopped a little bit in college, and then when I finished college and was in a band, I started skating again.
Remember in the, I guess, early 90s or late 80s where the skateboard was actually shaped it had a nose and it had a front and a back instead of just two
tails basically.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I do remember that. I had one of those as a kid too, and it even had the it even had the rails on the underneath the deck where it was used for grinding or like to lift up to do like old school tricks.
I never got into that one. I got into just the old school one, and then didn't do anything fun with it, and then stopped. And then I went to rollerblading, which is now the death of coolness, apparently. But cool. Okay, so Jonathan says he's giving us the definition. A grommet is a young or inexperienced surfer or skater. Thanks, Jonathan.
Okay.
So then, yeah, I did do some surfing though in SoCal, so that was fun.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was always awesome. Yeah, no, back in the day, man, flashing back to all my skating and whatnot years. But anyway, cool giveaway, I think. This series definitely is catching some heat and people are interested in it. Yeah, so we'll do that at the end. Thank you, guys. I know we're starting a bit earlier today as well, so we're just going to keep everybody on their toes. More of a scheduling thing than a strategic thing, I think, at this point. But yeah, because some people just show up at the end for the giveaway. Now they might not be able to make the giveaway, so it improves everybody's chances who's listening, I guess.
Nice.
Some good comments popping in here, all from probably Matt, who's listening from the vet, probably.
Yeah, when I saw the Avril Lavigne comment, that was pretty funny. I did just find out she did re-record her greatest hits or something like that recently.
Really? Huh.
Yeah. So, I mean, I haven't listened to it or anything like that, but it's always interesting to see that, like, musicians doing that, right? That it's the 25th anniversary of whatever record that they got big on, and then they're re-recording it. And it's kind of awesome. It's kind of cool to hear the progression of like who was still practicing, I guess, versus who's just gonna. And then it's especially like being 20 years later, like voices change right over time. So it's always interesting to hear a band like whose voices were like super high pitched at one point in time, and then now that like from like drinking or whatever, that it's like super deep now.
What's weird is the older we get, like the more of those bands who are in their heyday are kind of now a little bit older, and you can go see them play, and it's like I saw Aerosmith and Guns N' Roses without Axl. They had somebody else, but Slash was in it, like a few years ago, and I was just like, huh, okay. And it was totally chill. Everyone had a beer. Everyone was just like, all right. But I mean, back in the day, they were just like this, these massive forces of nature and defining culture. And now I was like, it was still very cool. Like Steven Tyler was like, he's like 70 doing like jump kicks and stuff. I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
But it was just weird. I think we'll probably see more and more. Like someday Taylor Swift will be like 50 something, and she'll do a reunion tour or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see that too. Like I remember seeing the Circle Jerks and Keith Morris. Like he's older. Like he was definitely like he was like one of the early singers for Black Flag, and like just to see him on stage again, like he has tons of energy. So
I mean, there must be something enthusiastic or like invigorating from having everyone just worship you on stage. Probably gives new life to everybody.
I mean, definitely, like, as you get bigger and bigger crowds, you can definitely feed off the energy of the crowd. Like, I mean, I play, so, like, so I definitely feel it, like, but that's why I was a little bit late jumping on. I was practicing bass.
Aaron, in this call already, it seems that you're way cooler than me. You skate, you play. I
don't skate anymore, to clarify. So, yeah. But, I mean,
you're a professional skater. Karen said if we heard about the Eminem album yet. Yeah, I heard that song. I don't know if I like that remix kind of like version. I don't know if you've heard it yet, but
I did hear that one track. I like to listen to albums all the way through just to get a real feel of what the artist is doing.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably fair. I just heard a very contextual, like one clip of his, like it was kind of like a remake of his with a real Slim Shady stand-up kind of thing. And yeah. I'm an Eminem fan too. I liked it, but like it's kind of, I don't know. It seems like a different remix of his original stuff, which had so much energy.
Right.
And his voice you can hear actually got a lot deeper too. It seems like more old man voice, I guess.
Right.
He's a huge comic fan as well, supposedly, right? He's been on all those covers with Spider-Man, and I think he probably has a pretty
And then
massive.
he had his own release off of his website and everything. I
Yeah.
mean, like, and even in his early music videos, where he's like dressed up like him and Dre are dressed up as Batman and Robin.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, like, because I think like you could see the influence back then, so it's kind of cool to see that he's, I guess, trying to do something with the industry now.
Yeah, I'm going
Or
to give it a listen. I'm going to give it a listen, and we'll go through it and talk about it and critique it in more depth. So the big news that's interesting is that Random House is buying Boom Studios. What a crazy thing! I've been reading up on it across the Hollywood Reporter, Publisher Weekly, tons of other sites are kind of reporting on it. But the big takeaway for those who haven't heard is, Penguin Random House, a publisher, or I guess a distributor, is buying an independent publisher. And the market and the industry is kind of going, well, what's that mean? I don't know if you had a chance to think about it, Aaron, but what are your thoughts?
So, I mean, through all my background in music and stuff like that, I've always loved independent artists, and I guess it kind of like carried on, like reading into comics. From those that have seen me on other shows know that I'm a huge Something That's Killing the Children fan. So like I definitely like reading Boom titles, and to me, like seeing like someone like Penguin Random House like buy out a publisher like that, it slightly scares me, like to see like, okay, are they going to change the integrity of the independent style of writing, the art? It's a little bit more lax versus like the big two of like DC or Marvel. So I think over time we'll have to see if there's like any major changes and stuff like that to what they're doing.
Yeah, I've been a part of a couple of buyouts. Back in the day, I worked for Kelly Blue Book, and they got bought by Auto Trader. And the first thing that happened was everyone said, nothing's going to change. You are our secret sauce. You are the ones. You're the reasons we're here. And then slowly management changed, and slowly culture changed, and slowly it was insane. And then everybody kind of left. I'm a huge fan of Boom. I love all of their titles. Honestly, like they're just so good. As Treasury said, it's probably an IP play. Like they probably want their content, because I know a lot of it's been
so like optioned or has potential of being optioned.
From my understanding, there was a minority stake held by Fox, and then Fox, one of their subsidiaries or whatever, got bought by Disney, so it was owned by Disney. And a part of this deal is they bought out that minor stake as well, so it's totally owned, I guess. This is to read the articles. I might be butchering it, but it's owned by Penguin Random House. And the interesting thing, though, is they're still going to use the distribution through Diamond instead of Penguin, which I thought was really strange. At least that's what the article said.
Well, I wonder if it's because of the international aspect of it, because Diamond account holders over in the UK, they still get their Marvel books through Diamond, from my understanding.
Right, but I think Diamond orders through Penguin Random House to fulfill their orders still.
Right, yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely like, I guess it's kind of it's interesting to see this, right, with a bunch of with multiple distributors of comics, right, like Lunar. I don't remember the other one that broke out that was originally doing DC as well. That's no longer distributing comics or whatever, or distributing DC comics. But but then like seeing Random House like take over Marvel and all that, like it's been a really interesting time in comics, like for people that care about the stuff that's happening behind the scenes.
Well, it's weird because we see that a lot, just running Cover Price. Like there's people who enjoy comic books and enjoy the content, and then there's the business side of comics, right? And that's a whole different ballgame of, people who know people and people putting out stuff, people promoting. Like there's all this like back and forth of like, what's really happening. And it's fun. It is fun from my perspective to see, like, I love seeing shakeups like that. Like when Lunar and Penguin started distributing after COVID, like that was interesting. Like, wow, Diamond's getting broken up a little bit. Independent publishers were like putting their own stuff out on their web stores and things. I don't know. I thought it was, I don't know. It's always interesting to see. And Treasury, or who was it? Cover Price. So already, the president, Philip, was released, right? He left the company. I don't know if he was let go or if he left of his own accord, and he was in charge of a lot of important titles. So to your point, yeah, I mean, if that's all shifting, that talent's going to go someplace else. They'll probably bring another talent and see what happens. But I don't know. It's pretty interesting stuff, I think.
Did you see the article about Distillery going to Lunar?
I heard about it. I didn't see the article, but I actually heard about it. Wait, was it going to Lunar or was it going to Diamond?
Diamond, I think. Oh yeah. Yeah. Because Distillery was a part of Lunar, right? And they left Lunar to go to exclusively to Diamond.
Yeah, I'm curious if any retailers who are listening, what do you guys think about all these shakeups? Like, are you happy that Diamond is getting more business? Are you happy that Penguin is buying out publishers? I mean, what's the impact to you guys? Because that's, I mean, you're the ones who are in the front line of it. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. Distillery's still growing, still getting pretty big, and
right. It's still pretty fresh, right? Like, I don't think people should try to compare like Boom to Distillery at all, right? Distillery is still just like getting their foot in the water at this point. So, I mean, I've bought some Distillery books. I haven't read them yet, but at the same time, I mean, doesn't mean anything. Like, I'm still interested to see what they do.
Yeah. No, I think it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I don't know. People have different opinions about working with different distributors, especially the retailers, and the way that things were shipped and the things on time and stuff like that. But fortunately, we don't have to deal with any of that stuff at Cover Price because we don't do. We're just the information site. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Let's see what some people are saying. So what's the deal with Something Skilling the Children show on Netflix? Yeah, that'll be awesome. I've always been a huge Buffy fan when I was younger, and I think Something Skilling the Children is kind of like a Buffy phase 2 in some ways, because it's, but it's fantastic. I love it.
Right, especially since the monsters are invisible to adults, like that's got to be easy in production, right? I mean, somewhat. Like you don't have to do like a bunch of CGI stuff like throughout the entire show. You only have to do it glimpses of it. So I think
yeah. And I mean, and plus the whole like politics of it, the different houses in the House of Slaughter and stuff and whatnot, and the masks and the different colors, like they've built a real nice world to kind of play in and see. So.
It's so crazy too to see like something that was supposed to be a mini series becoming like a full-on ongoing series, having spin-offs. Yeah,
I mean, it's a good way to do it, just to see if there's any excitement about it, and then if it takes off, then you're like, oh, okay, let's get this going. Yeah. You might miss on like if they do a completely self-enclosed kind of story, that's great. But then if they try to push it out, you always see with content that like. It kind of gets stale after a while, or they're but it's still so new in their world that like their mythos can probably go for another 5-10 years and be fine.
Yep,
we'll see. Matt says, I'm assuming it's Matt, is in active development. So that's interesting. So he's thinking there's going to be a cast announcement over at SDCC this year. Speaking of SDCC, you had some interesting news before we jumped on the call about that. What was that?
Yeah, so in one of my mini comic group chats, someone sent out an article from Forbes, and Comic-Con was talking about they maybe potentially leaving San Diego because their contract with the convention center ends in 2025. There's been later developments from that Forbes article that that they are in good faith extending it to another year to 2026. But the main complaints about it were the organizers are noticing that, that hotels are doing special pricing for, like, I guess, limited blocks of hotels, and then outside of that they're like charging like whatever, just because they know that their hotels will fill up and all that.
Mm.
So the organizers are worried about, like, oh, is this con so big now at this point that normal people that, or people that want to attend the con, can't attend anymore, you know and then besides, like, just like whatever Hollywood, Hollywood whatever that's showing up at this con, it's like, oh, they don't care because they can afford, their budgets, not like my budget, right?
Jeez. I know about like I did some research on like cons and stuff like that. And I think they were saying that San Diego con brings about 280 to maybe $350 million to the city. Hotels, tickets, entertainment, food, drink, all that kind of stuff, like really adds up. So it's a huge, huge win for any city that puts on a con of that
Right.
size, or any kind of convention. But I mean, man, like I wish these people spoke up like 7 years ago, because like,
Right.
it was insane then. Like it's been, if anyone who's listening, like if you guys have tried to go to Comic-Con, first of all, it's hard to get tickets, you know.
Right. Yeah. Like,
The only
yeah.
way we can get tickets is because we're cover price, like literally, and that's through like PR and doing a panel and doing all these things. Like it's pretty hard. And then
Yeah, I've tried entering into that lottery, and it seems like it's nearly impossible because there's so many loops to jump through. Like, and then you're also fighting against people that had tickets the previous year before.
yeah, it is insane. And then trying to be a retailer there, like you're completely priced out because of Hollywood and stuff like that. If you're trying to have an info booth, we did that once, and it's just like stupid expensive, especially because for us, like we're not selling anything except for the subscription to the website, and it's like $6.95 a month doesn't cover a $15,000-$20,000 booth.
Unless every single attendee like is subscribed to it, right? Which, which there's like what, there's 100. I think last year they had 138,000 people attend the con.
How many? 110?
138,000.
Jeez.
I mean, like, and someone outside of comics, they were telling me, like, they're like, yeah, like San Diego Comic-Con, that's the biggest convention across all conventions.
Wow.
Like, so I mean, just think about that for a second. That's kind of crazy to think that, like, this con is so big that even people outside of comics, like, kind of see that it's a huge deal for pop culture.
The crazy thing is it's content, right? Like I think whenever you attach movie stars and stuff to a convention, it really it goes beyond comics, and then you start getting that like that buzz or that kind of like ripple effect of like, oh, they announced this and it impacts that the movie slate for the next 10 years or whatever. Like all of these big things get announced. So I can, like, we when we first started Cover Price, Matt and I, we invested like $2,000 to a company to hand out flyers to sign up for Cover Price. And we sat back, we're like, here come people. They're going to start signing up. Not a single person signed up. Not a single.
What?
And Matt and I were walking around outside the con, looking at all the yacht parties and all that stuff. And we were just like going, wow, someday, man, someday. And then when we started Cover Price and started getting PR and all that stuff, like we got invitations to some of those things, and it was a completely different con when you're like you're on the boat.
Oh, when you're on the boat versus looking at the boat.
Yes, very different. Everything tastes better on the boat, which is weird. No, no, but it was silly. But it's just different. And like to your point, I guess to the Forbes article, like, yeah, it's becoming a con for industry folk to network and things like that, whereas the comic book fan can't really. So, I mean, like Stephen here says like yeah, they should move it to Vegas. Yeah, it'd be interesting. It would be interesting to see the San Diego Comic-Con SDCC go to LVCC or something,
Right. I mean, and then even if they did do a transition like that, I think it would still, like, that first one outside of San Diego, wherever it may be, like I don't know if they're actually considering, I mean they've been in talks with other major cities that are interested. Um,
Hmm.
so I think that first one, that when it does transition to wherever, I think it's going to be a bit of a rough patch,
Dude,
right?
it will be. I mean, hotel prices are $400 to $1,000 a night. A
Yeah.
night. When I remember last year we were looking at like a Airbnb to just get a bunch of people there, and they didn't. I think they forgot that it was Comic-Con because there was only like $300 a night or something, or 400, and we're like, oh great. They canceled it after we booked it. They canceled it, which I don't think
Oh,
they're supposed to, obviously. And then they
right.
raised it to like $2,500 a night for the like 4-bedroom house that we were going to take.
That's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just price gouging, you know. But
Right. Or where it's like kind of like, oops, I made a boo boo.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But aside from that, it's a great con. It's really fun.
This is my first year. This is my first year going.
Really? Why is that? Just because you're in Texas.
Well, I'm in Texas, and then trying to get tickets and all that stuff was like nearly impossible. And then just the cost, right? Like what you were saying, like looking up at hotel. I was looking at hotels before. I ended up finding that Airbnb, and it's exactly what you said: $400 to $1,000 a night. And I was like, how am I going to afford to pay like $5,000 in just hotel fees, right? Like,
not to mention what you spend at the con.
right, exactly. Like, how am I going to spend any money at the con then at the same time? Where it's like kind of like, it's like, okay, yeah, obviously I'm going to buy stuff to try to flip and fund the trip as much as possisable.
You know who's great at that is Matt. Matt is the ultimate like, oh, if you do this right, everything's free. Mentality. Yeah, no, it is crazy. The one thing that was fun a few years ago is I stayed away from the downtown area and I would bird scooter into it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've played with those. Those things are awesome. Death defying, but awesome. But they geofence the entire downtown area. So you're going on, I don't know how fast, like 15 miles an hour. And then it makes you go like 2 miles an hour. And people are walking faster than you because they geofence the whole thing so you can't like speed around down there. So
wow.
Yeah, so then it becomes kind of pointless. But
yeah,
it is what it is.
I'm staying in the middle of the gas lamp district, so it'll
nice.
Yes, so it'll definitely be really fun.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, well, let us know when you're there. And by the way, for everyone who's listening, if you find us at Comic-Con, good luck. But we are doing a panel this year, so you can look for us. We will give you hats and T-shirts if you show up, as long as they last. And Aaron will get you a hat or something as well. But someone mentioned in the comments, how do I get a hat? You got to tackle. I always say tackle Matt. Don't let him know to tackle him. He's okay with it. And for that, if I'm around, I will applaud you and then give you a hat.
Just make sure John's in front of.
Yeah, please don't tackle Matt. I'm just joking. That would be hilarious. But yeah, we're doing a panel this year. We're actually, I'd be curious to hear what you think about this. We're giving a talk about how comic books have different eras, gold and silver, all that stuff. It's been the modern for like 30 something years. You know? And so we were going to do a panel on like, is it really the variant age? Is it really like what would we call, if we were to divide the modern era into another 15-year mark and cut back like 15 years? What would you call this age? Like postmodern, modern, the foil age?
So my thoughts are, I think we should rename like the 90s time period, right? Like to something else besides modern. And then use like whatever is current as modern, and then just rename like every like 10, 15, 20 years, whatever you want to use, whatever time period you want to use, rename those time periods, because it's like so far past that point, right? That I think it's easier to go back and look at that. Because like when you say, oh, I'm a modern collector, like there's so many rabbit holes you could go down. Like, okay, are you like a newsstand 90s collector? Are you just collecting incentive variants? Like, are you collecting store variants? Like, there's so many rabbit holes you could go down. Like, I think it's easier to name stuff that's already happened than try to like come up with a new adjective to what's currently coming out.
That is actually really smart. I totally was going to take a different approach to that.
Oh, really? Okay.
Well, no, because I was just thinking like, okay, that would be modern. But yeah, you're right. Modern denotes like right now, present. Whereas, and when they defined silver and gold and all that stuff, that had already passed. It wasn't like they said, now we're in the golden age. It was like, oh, that was the golden age. So then I'll rephrase my question. What would you call that 90s to maybe 2000 period, 2005 period of comic collecting? How would you define that?
The age of printing.
Age of printing?
Yeah, because print runs were so high at that point in time that
print run age, the print run age. I mean, it is kind of the variant age too. I mean, it is kind of like, because of that, like,
right.
We're about to launch this whole new thing on Cover Price where you can look at an entire series and then you can toggle on all the variants in that series. And I'll probably talk about that next week when we launch this thing right before San Diego. But it's kind of crazy because a series might have like 400 comics. You turn on the variant thing and it's now like 1,500 comics in the entire series. It is stark, like the difference between standard covers and variants, especially for what we're calling now modern books, right?
Right.
So yeah, it is pretty. I'm sorry, I just caught some glances here. The gimmick age, the FOMO era.
What is the retail variant and acetate age? Wouldn't that be like in the 2010s kind of time period too? And then I mean, and then there's always like stuff that's happened throughout these different time periods, right? Like in the 2000s, you have like the introduction of slabs, so you could call that like the slab variant or slab age or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Or the age of plastic or something like that. I mean, because there's events that define these different time periods, like like you could even call like the 90s age like the newsstand age, and then like in 2000s like what was it, 2017 it ended for DC, and 2013 it ended for Marvel. So I'm sure there's like
I mean I could see that. I don't know, it's interesting. We're thinking about doing a survey of all of our members and like saying, what would you call that period? And then we'll probably present that at the con and get everyone's feedback on that. But yeah, it is kind of crazy. It's been too long though. It's like, it's not, the ages are descriptive. And we don't, obviously we don't think we have the say in what we should call this age, but we do have a website where we need to like categorize things correctly. And if we start doing it, maybe people will be interested in it. We'll call it the Cover Price age and do free marketing for us for the rest of their life. No, of course not. But like,
yeah, I mean, it's stuff like that, like where you're publishing, like since you have articles writing about this, like when those terms are out there, then it kind of gets picked up by other like writers and other publishers or whoever.
Yeah, the only reason we use the one system of grading is because it's been like that 25 point grading scale. I think it's called the one. There's something like universal something one scale. It was developed, I think, by what's that? The Overstreet, I believe, way back when, and everyone just uses it, so everyone has adopted it. But like you were saying, like if we define this and it get picked up in the industry, that'd be pretty cool, to like help define a new age and help like identify it better.
Yeah.
Lithium age. Ooh, I like lithium age. Yeah, we could keep going with metals. I mean,
oh yeah. Are there any more precious metals that we can use?
Let's go adamantium age and vibranium age and start making.
Oh yeah. Start using the.
It should probably be like something from Marvel, since Marvel kind of defined from 2000 on, right, in terms of like the Avengers and all that stuff, and really blew it up. The Covr'D age. I don't know. That was too recent.
Yeah.
That's the current age. Ooh, the aluminum age.
I mean, that's a good way to describe the 90s, right?
Yeah. I mean, that is, you recycle through different collectors. That's pretty fun. Anyway, so again, everybody, we're giving away Grommet number 2 for the giveaway today. Why don't we jump into the website and take a look at what's shaking? We've been doing a lot of talking, not enough showing. So let's see here. So I don't know if you've had a chance to read through the article. I know the Shaker Show went through this the other day, but they covered some of these already. Dark Wolverine and all this. I saw this and I know they already covered it, but do you remember Heroes?
I remember the show. I didn't really watch it, so.
Yeah, you didn't really watch it. Why not?
What time period did that?
2000. Well, this is 2006, so it's probably around that time.
Oh, so I was in college at that time, so I was busy drinking.
Yeah, it's all blacked out. You don't remember anything of it.
Yeah,
I love this show. It was so cool, and then it got really sucky towards the end of the thing. But yeah.
So there was a time period in college where I didn't watch any TV at all, and I just sat around, read books, and then I would catch movies every so often when I was going with friends. So yeah, so I didn't really watch TV like that, like I do now. But
see, Aaron, another instance of why you're cooler than me. Hanging out, drinking, having a good time. I don't know what I was doing at that time. I'm bad with like time frames. But this San Diego 2006 cover went for 187 this week in a near mint. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, no, if you get a chance, watch the first season or so of that. It was so much fun.
Okay, yeah, I'll have to check it out since I'm sure there's a bunch of content I missed.
Supposedly, like this is like a solar eclipse that kind of, and then everybody started developing those powers. I went to Texas, your neck of the woods, for the solar eclipse this year, and I won't lie that I secretly said to myself, what if I'm looking at this thing and I'm here and I get some of the superpowers.
So, some powers from the radiation.
All I got was radiation. Unfortunately.
Well, at least you had the glasses on, and you didn't say like, "Ow, my eyes hurt."
I should have taken my glasses off. That's how the radiation gets in.
Oh yeah.
Then it could be a daredevil, blind and hypersensitive.
It's like I see nothing but spots now.
Yeah, that's my superpower is I can read Braille. So yeah, no, a lot of fun stuff. Stop me if anything catches your eye.
Did I read it correctly that the Highlander that they're relaunching like the series in some capacity?
Let's see. 30-year legacy.
I don't know if I read it from.
Oh yeah, here we go. TV created by Gregory Wyden. TV series, novel, stands out price. I don't think we call it out here. But it would. I mean, that's a legacy brand that will never go away.
Right. Yeah.
There can only be one.
I definitely remember that TV show. So yeah, and the movies. So.
Oh, okay. Wait, we got some comments saying yeah. So they're gonna remake it. That's awesome. With Cavill. Wow, he's getting into everything.
Well, I mean, yeah, if he's not Superman, he's got to be the next one, right?
What if his whole entire career moving forward is him just being like, I got to do something bigger than Superman, something more powerful,
right? Something more iconic, right?
Yeah. Well, the Highlander is an alien, right? I mean, they're from a different planet. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They collect power. Mm-hmm.
And I guess there can only be one, right?
There can be only one. Well, I mean, then what happens when he's the only one at the end? Then he's just like all powerful and he gets reborn, reincarnated as 1,000 others, and then they have to do it all over again. Who knows? Kick ass, making some news here. We got a $330 sale for 9/8. Pretty cool. It's always fun to see. I thought that was fun. I thought that was a good kind of the whole comic book was fantastic, and I love the way that the drawing, the art, everything in it. But the movies were great too.
Yeah, definitely enjoyed the movies. I'll have to go back and read the comics because I always hear that they're great. So
I'm just reading the comic. They couldn't get Nicolas Cage. That's funny. The second movie actually never existed. What does that mean? Of the Highlander? Wasn't there 4 different ones or something? Um, nice. Some Red Sonja, of course. Adam Hughes. He's so iconic. Like his art is just stands out all the time.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And then like being a mentee of Dave Stevens too as well, right?
What's that again? Sorry, you cut out.
Well, of him being a mentee of Dave Stevens, like
yeah,
because
that's
they have that one cover that they worked on together.
That is cool. Yeah. One thing we're gonna launch on the website, it's on the roadmap, is the ability to go to an artist and see everything they ever made, and then filter by like what's selling, what's not selling, what's and have some comments and stuff. So that's
that's definitely one way to stand above the rest. Because I mean, I know there's a lot of like comic dealers that will grab all their comics that are just like certain artists, right? Like J. Scott Campbell, Scotty Young, like Jim Lee, or whoever's attending that con, and then they kind of pull that and all put it in like one box together.
Yeah, that's what one thing that we're trying to do is. I mean, right now you can create virtual boxes, right? Have you ever seen that on the site? Like the ability to go through and you can take everything in your collection, put it into a smaller box, and then take that to a con or something and be like, okay, let me or put it on your wish list and stuff, and then you'll have like a concise list of what you're trying to do.
Oh, nice. So it's more concentrated.
Yeah, and also on the wish list, I don't know if I showed you this, but what you can do is once you go to the collection section, if you add it to your wish list and you go to list view, we'll tell you. You can say what your desired grade is, and if we have it, we'll tell you what you should pay for it, basically, in terms of like what the most common condition is. And so you can go in and say, I'm going to look for this one in, I don't even know if this is going to be around, but like say a 9.6. And if there is a sale for it, it'll update to, there you go. So $6, right? $1,000 for this iconic black hat, right? Mm-hmm. But you can go in and change it. So you can say what you're looking for, and then we'll tell you the most common, the fair market value based on our sales and all that. But yeah, there's a lot of fun things I don't think people know about. Like I was going to say with the virtual boxes, you can literally say, I'm going to add, click on as many as you want, add it to a box, things I want to sell. And then you can go into the virtual box and things I want to sell. Those things, and then you can, of course, get the full value. So a lot of times when people are trying to sell their collection, they'll just grab it, put it into a virtual box if it's a subsection of it, and then price it out that way. Again, you can get the full list and all that stuff. We even tell you your profit losses. I don't know if you saw that. Anyway, I always want to talk about the website. So.
I mean, it's a great tool. So, like, yeah, talk about it as much as you want, Yeah.
I just don't. It's funny. I don't think people know about all the nuances of it because we just keep adding stuff and not saying anything. We should probably do a better job of telling people what we do. But anyway, all right. Yes, the virtual box limit. We are considering raising that, obviously. So that's something we could probably do in the future. Street Fighter and Darkstalkers. It's always cool. It's a fun one.
They always get like the Art Germ house of artists to do different covers and stuff like that.
Yeah. Such a cool style.
Mm-hmm.
DC logo. I don't know if you saw this, but we actually have a entire in the content section. We have where is it? If you do a search, it's not going to be... Yeah. And by the way, when you guys go to SDCC, we're coming out with the exclusive list of SDCC variants. Probably the only one available, to be honest, like with all humility. Our team has been scouring for the last month, grabbing everything we can, putting it together, and we're going to present it in a way that helps you find everything that you're looking for.
Yeah, McClay was like, Brian was asking me, he's like, hey, do you know where they'll find like all the comic exclusives that are going to be coming out for SCCC? I was like, just wait for cover prices.
There you go.
I was like, they did it last year. I expect them to do it this year.
Yeah, no, we will, and it's gonna. We're redoing the entire way of looking at that page too. So instead of it just being like a list like this, if we get it done in time, you will be able to go to. Oh, that's a review of the con. Here we go, Fan Expo. You'll be able to go to, whoops. Yeah, you'll be able to see the entire list of everything there. You can click on it and go to the page, but we're going to actually make it much more functional for everybody. And you'll be able to search by like booth and artist and stuff like that. And hopefully that'll narrow it down. So, Rudy, if you're there at San Diego, come find us. We'll be there.
Yeah, just look for me. I'll be standing next to two giants. So.
Well, I'll be wearing hats, which will be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see what else is going on. I was trying to find. I know one of our team members, Jeff, did. He created a whole list of DC logo variants, and it's on the site someplace. But you can actually go catch those. But this is cool. Sold for a high of 125 in a 9.0.
On the DC Universe logos, did you know that the Legion Adam Hughes cover that had a DC logo or DC Universe?
Really?
Yeah.
I don't have that. I have that cover someplace, but really, that's awesome.
Yeah. If you know Longshort, like I do a show with him on Near Nirvana. He recently found one and was showing us like before we started our show the other day. I mean, he shared it on Instagram and everything, so it's not a secret that he has it. So I was just like super impressed that like it's a DC Universe and it's an Adam Hughes cover on top of that.
Yeah, that is rare. I wonder if which one is that? That's Legion.
Let me find. I forget what issue that is.
I'm spelling things wrong.
Oh, Legionnaires. Legii.
Oh, how do you spell it? Legii.
GIONNAIRES. Issue 16.
Okay. Legionnaires. Oh, so yeah. So those who know, if you put in the hashtag, you can search to a specific one as well. That one? No, that's not the Adam Hughes. Oh, is that? Yeah. So we do have it. Yeah. Oops. Let me go to it real quick. Oh, I thought you were talking about the Adam Hughes one where I was thinking Supergirl on the asteroid flying.
The Lush 23 or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So boom, we have it. That always scares me when I do a live search. I'm always like, do we have it?
I mean, but sometimes there's some DC Universe logo variants that are so rare that no one knows that they exist until like one pops out of nowhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, even this one, 325 was the last recorded sale. Only about 79 recorded sales this year for a big sale of 325. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, if you do a search on the website in the content section for DC logo variant, I think the list will pop up. But we got to make that a little bit more accessible. Kind of fun. That's the fun stuff about collecting is there's all these little nuanced things that pop up.
It's like, which rabbit hole do you want to go down, right? I mean, I guess after you've been collecting for a while, right? That like you got key books of characters you like and stuff like that, and you start finding like new things to collect. It's always interesting to see like what someone's collection ends up like.
Well, that's the fun thing about we're trying to create lists, but it's like you have everything from like milkshake covers to animal covers to Christmas covers. Like some people just collect like Christmas, themed comic books. Like there's so many little nuances to the thing. Like DC logo, newsstand, Mark Jeweler, like sure, that's cool. Then of course the international stuff, like that's a whole nother world of everything.
Yeah, I was going down that rabbit hole for a while, and so and then there was a book I was looking for like 4 years, I want to say, and I finally found it this year.
Really? What do you collect? Or is there a specific? Is that like what you're into, or is like do you have or do you just kind of read and collect as you go?
I just kind of read and collect as I go. Like with the whole idea of like niche collecting and stuff like that, like I thought about starting to do collecting a bunch of covers where it has like cherry blossoms on it. That was something I was thinking about going down that path, and then like there's been books that just explode in that, and I'm just like kind of like, okay, it's not doable. So I mean, I like a lot of modern stuff, a lot of the incentives. Um, so for a while, I was just collecting certain characters. Um, yeah, so it kind of like I jump around on what I collect.
The cherry blossom one is very niche. I don't know anybody who does that. That Psylocke cover, right? That like I forget which one it was, but she's got cherry blossoms around her.
Right, yeah, and there's tons of Usagi covers that have cherry blossoms on it. There's been a couple books that came out recently. What was that title? It was a Rian Gonzalez cover. I can't remember. I can't remember the title, but yeah.
That would be cool to. So if you were to put that into like a virtual box, you could see that entire collection and see all the cherry blossom stuff. You know.
I do have a Bee and Puppy Cat number 9. the first Rose Besh. I was doing that for a while. Was collecting artist covers, or artist first covers, or artist first professional works.
Yeah, I mean that's the way, in my opinion. Like that's kind of cool stuff. Like getting a first, getting of course keys, stuff like that. But I don't know. I like Frankie here is collecting Mark Jewelers, but only in the Oakland A's colors.
Okay.
That is specific. That is specific.
I was doing for a second collecting books in my that were released on my birth month and year.
Oh wow. That's very specific to you.
Right. And then it was kind of funny that the Dark Knight Returns actually issue 1 was within that.
Really?
Yeah, so it's like March of '86.
Oh wow, that's lucky year.
Yeah, so like, and it was kind of funny, like just looking through that stuff, and I was like, oh, that's kind of a cool path to go down. And so I started researching like what books were like have that street date.
Huh. That is a cool. I don't think we have any. I mean, I guess you could search by year, but like or era. But yeah, that's unique. That's kind of crazy. Huh. It is kind of cool to know. Like I like seeing magazine covers and stuff from like my birth year, because then it's like, oh, that's what was happening in the world. So it's kind of like a time capsule, you know.
Yeah.
Let's see. Birthday books, May '67. My niche. Another birthday collector.
Yeah, so it's kind of a fun thing to do, like just to like see what you can make up, right? I mean, I'm sure other people have collected it too as well, but like, yeah.
Yeah, we got Brian collecting cars. So Transformers, basically. But yeah, moving forward. Speaking of, I mean, have you seen this one, the Transformers Ghostbusters, that variant?
I haven't seen that before.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. It was the Stanley 1 in 10 back in 2019. And yeah, it was just this is the version of Optimus as like a kind of a ghostly kind of thing. But yeah, that whole series, I think it was like it started because they made Ecto 1, you know, their hearse that they drive in, a Transformer. And then, yeah. Then
they actually made toys for that too for a while.
See, that's a cool niche. That's like, you know, going from like, you know, Ghostbusters to Transformers to comic books. Like, I can see, like, there's so many people who love Ghostbusters and just collect all of that. That's a perfect crossover. Now they're going to get into Transformers.
Right, yeah. And then IDW 1 in 10s, like, those are always historically hard to find, too, as well.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, you know, just because the stores they have to have that demand, and the people, you know, have to. Nowadays, I think it might be a little bit, well, I don't know if it's easier because the stores still have to order that many, but now you can do, you know, a pull list, a pre-order, and I think people have a better awareness of what to order. But I mean, back in the day, well, that's not too long ago, but back in the day, you know, I don't know if pull lists and stuff were as popular, and so you had to guess and then maybe eat all that inventory if no one bought it.
Right, exactly, yeah. I mean, I've even heard of some stores that they were so tight knitted on that, where it's like, oh, if we had like 6, you know, people pre-ordering it, I'm not even going to boost it up to the extra 4, because I don't know if those other 4 covers will just sit on the shelf forever or what.
Yeah, it's a tough business. Like you really have to know the market. You really have to know what's going on and what people are going to buy. I
Or
know
just
we're
know your customers too as well.
yeah. It's a fun, crazy industry that we are a part of. It's really fun.
Hmm.
I just want to call this one out before I know we're about out of time, but X-Men, Uncanny X-Men number 129, the Mark Jewelers had a ridiculous sale, record-breaking $17,000, and we verified it. We don't just pull it in and go, oh, it's on eBay. We verify all those sales to make sure that it's legit. And we thought this might be some weird kind of, there was that whole stuff with CGC and the everyone like reholding and like breaking the slabs.
Yeah, with the
Yeah.
Mark, especially with the Mark Jewelers, right?
Oh yeah. But
Yeah.
we checked this one, and this one seems very, very legit. But 17,000, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I know that bad press on Mark Jewelers and stuff like that. Like a lot of people were, I guess turned off by that, right? And then kind of turned their backs on that. But it seems like it's picking back up again. So especially since like I think CGC did a very good job of like recalling all those books and to figure out like what to do in that situation.
Yeah. I think they handled it as good as they could. That's a nightmare situation for any company. The product you're putting out is then there's fakes or it's not as valid. Like, what do you do? And a lot of the grading companies have been around a long time, and I think they're doing their best. But there's so many good actors and there's so many bad actors in any kind of industry, and you're gonna find this kind of stuff. Let me put up the let's start the giveaway so that everyone can start getting in there. You're gonna I'm gonna create a quick banner, #giveaway. So if you type into the comments #giveaway, you will be entered. There we go. So type that in, and you will be entered into the giveaway, and you have a chance to win grommet number 2. A grommet, as we learned, is someone new to skating and surfing. That sounds cool. Other cool stuff. We're watching Nice House on the Lake. That one had a pretty big sale. Well, you can find it. I mean, you can still find it pretty cheap, but going up.
Yeah, I did hear that. I did read that. Like, I think like half the series, but because of the time gap, like I didn't read the rest. But I mean, I definitely enjoyed from what I was reading on that. And aren't they continuing this series or doing like a spin-off of it or something like that?
I think so. Nice House, I believe. Yeah. The Black Series title was tremendous success. Had Eisner Awards and everything like that. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. Matt's the much better.
Next series next week. Okay.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Sweet.
Let me see if there's a comment here. So keep jumping into the giveaway, and we will do that in a few minutes here. So there was a comment that I can't find it though. Where is it? Sorry. Oh, here we go. So yeah, I wanted to comment on this one real quick. Has anyone in Cover Price watched the YouTube video of Bree Comics did about Go Collect and Cover Price pricing tool? So yeah, no, we definitely watched that and saw that. We pay attention to all those things. And I think the comment was, some of the values that we have are, he was calling out some of the different aspects of them, that some of them were incorrect, some of them were not. And a lot of it comes down to a couple things. Some of it, yes, is incorrect. And we do everything we can, like literally everything we can, to improve the validity of all the sales that go in. I mean, we have so many like safeguards. We pull everything in programmatically, 25,000 sales per day about, right? That goes through multiple filters. It gets quarantined if we can't verify the sale. We check and verify every single sale that comes through. And then it gets, if we can't, with a high confidence, just bring it into the site, we have a manual review go through it. Our system is getting better and better every single day, But yeah, I mean, some of the stuff Bryce said was fair. and we listened to it, and we're like, great, that's great feedback. We're going to improve those things. Other things were more of an issue of not knowing how our price guides work, because some of the stuff, we purposely call out when something's older on the site. We purposely call out like, all of our sales data is based on actual sales ranges rather than like a curve. And sometimes that can make a fair market value look different. If it kind of, for example, if you put a comic book in and it's a grade that we don't have, our fair market value will bump it up to the next most common condition just to give you a sense of what it's worth. And you can turn that off. So there's a lot of things. I think we need to do a better job of showing people how to use our price guides. But it's not for a lack of doing everything we can to make the site more accurate, more efficient. And in the next 2 months, you'll see, I think, a huge improvement in that as well. But I guess the only thing we can say is, we're doing the best we can. And the best we can is so much more than I think anybody else really does in terms of this. Nobody else is really capturing raw sales as much as we are. Or slap. Anyway, that's me defending our site and talking about that comment. But yeah, I don't know. I'm curious to think what you guys thought of all that. I don't know if you read it or saw any of that. I mean, we always get people kind of coming out and critiquing the site, both positively and negatively, and we take everything in and try to make the site better. That was me ranting. I don't know. What do you think, Aaron?
Yeah, my dog's barking, so I was just trying to mute.
Oh, gotcha. Well, there's a lot of fun stuff. If you guys haven't had a chance, be sure to go to the website and check out all of the content and all the other shakers. But let's take a look at the giveaway. Let's see. So it's pretty good numbers. If you haven't put in the hashtag giveaway, you haven't been entered. Let's see. A couple comments. And the outlier buy or sell will screw up everything for a bit, but it settles eventually. We actually are putting in safeguards. We have safeguards that if it's an outlier, it gets automatically flagged. So the team manually reviews it and checks it. So stuff like that, trust me, we've been doing this now for like 7 years. We are doing our very best to be as accurate because we know how important that accuracy is for not only the credibility of our website, but you're selling and buying things. We don't want to give you something that's wrong. So we take that very seriously.
Yeah, seeing a book sell for $500 and then you can find it on eBay all day for like 30. I think there's a problem.
Yeah, I will say whenever we see a video of anyone kind of critiquing our sales, it spurs just a ton of conversations internally about like, how do we make this better and what we can do. And, it's a big task. It's a lot of variations in comic books. Matt and I always joke, like we thought it was going to be easy. And then we got into it and we're like, oh shit, this is like a can of worms that's just going all over the place.
That just never ends, right?
Never ending. All right. Well, let's do the giveaway. If you haven't already, type in hashtag giveaway and you will be entered. Let's see here. Let me share my screen. And while I'm doing that, Aaron, tell us where can people find you?
So you can find me on Instagram. My username is YeezyYee. I'm on a ton of YouTube channels. So tonight I'll be on the House of Stein for the Hot 10. And then Saturday I will be on Beyond Wednesdays for Modern Comic Mayhem. Wednesdays is also Beyond Wednesdays. And then on Thursdays I'm on Nearing Nirvana for a little show called Long Story Short. You used to go out and skate. You used to go out and party, and now you're just on YouTube shows. Now I'm just chill. I'm getting closer to 40, so like it's my time to settle down and enjoy comics and chat with friends and stuff like that. So
like a fine wine, sir. Like a fine wine. Appreciate
I mean, I'm still in the band, so I haven't gotten that old yet, but
Now now you're at more like 7 or 8 on the guitar on the amp.
Yeah, instead of like pumping it up to 11, and then like everyone in the band, like they're younger than me, by like 10 years. So like I'm sitting there at band practice, like with Urban Dictionary open. Like, what did they just say?
I look younger than I am. I'm 45, and most people are always kind of like, so I always get treated as if I'm younger, and I'm like, stop it. Like, it works in some situations. In other situations, I'm like, look, there's gray in here. What are you doing? So,
I'm 38 and I work at a college, and then like, you know, and I'm within networking, so like I'll deal with anyone, you know, like from like a janitor with like whatever network connectivity issues to the president of the university, and everyone in between. So I'll help a lot of professors, or you know, or admin assistants or whatever, and they're like, oh, are you a student here? Like, what are you studying? And it's like, no, I haven't been in school in like 10 years, but
I'm a man, damn it. I'm not a boy. Yeah. No,
I mean, it's good because it's a college campus as well too. So I mean, like, you know, when you flirt with like the grad students and stuff like that, I don't feel so bad.
Going down that road. One real quick thing I noticed. To go back to the whole Bri thing. What he got was that you weren't pulling from a limited amount of places. That's fair. We do pull from 5 online sources. You know, we're pulling from all the major auction houses, all major online places, and we're just adding more and more. So, I mean, I don't know if that's a fair. Again, we don't typically say where we pull from, just because we're trying to be respectful of terms and conditions of, you know, those places. But like, we're pulling from all the major places, probably more than anybody else, to be honest. So, and that's just going to increase. But anyway, enough about that. Let's do this giveaway. All right. So if you win the giveaway, please reach out to me. You can reach out to me directly, john@covr'D.com. Pretty simple, JOHN. Or you can reach out to us on Instagram and just DM us. But we want it. You need to show your Cover Price account so we can verify it's you. Otherwise, anybody might just say they won. All right. The winner. Lucky winner.
No whammies.
No whammies. All right. Bobo Locos or Bobo Lokes. Congratulations. Are you still here? You won grommet number 2, which is this awesome 1 in 10 variant. Congratulations. Don't forget, we give away comics every single show. So please listen and watch, and we will continue to give you guys good stuff. All right. Congratulations. Email me, john@coverprice. Very simple email address. Email me with your shipping info and everything, and we will get this out to you ASAP.
Is it .com?
John.com. Yeah, john@coverprice.com.
Okay.
Good call.
Yep.
All right. Any famous last words for you, Aaron?
Have fun collecting out there. See you at San Diego if you're going to be there. So look for me and John hanging out.
Again, if you tackle Matt DeVoe, don't tackle him. If you pat him on the back and somehow scare him in some way, I will give you a hat or a T-shirt if we have them on us, which we will bring a ton of stuff, or a tote bag. Yeah. So yeah, hopefully we see you guys there. Come to our panel Saturday at 5 p.m. And keep on collecting, everyone. Thanks for watching.